Kapow! Boom! Two great miniature wargaming tastes that taste great together. I want to play a 1-hour skirmish war game, but John Lambshead only gave me one Napoleonic battle scenario in this book. That's okay. I'm a pretty smart dude. My good buddy Neil Thomas has 30 different scenarios that I can use. All I need to do is roll a big D30 to figure out which one is going to be the lucky winner. As you can see, lucky number 3. We have hit the trifecta. Let's see what scenario 3 is. We'll figure out our orders of battle once we see what the rules of this particular battle are. Scenario 3 is going to be control the river. Oh, this looks exciting. Good stuff. We've got 2 river crossings, a hill, and some woods. And what I'll probably do is make this a set of woods, and then I'll probably scatter a bunch of other little trees throughout here to keep it as interesting as possible. Both armies have 6 units, so it's going to be an even-Stevens fight. The red army appears anywhere on the northern table edge. The blue army, so I guess we'll call that the Brits. The blue army appears anywhere on the southern table edge. And the game lasts, now I'm only going to go 7 turns because this is much simpler than this. In fact, 5 is probably all I need. Victory is secured by controlling both forts at the end of the game. Scenario lasts 15 turns. Red goes first. We got to remember that. The red army arrives anywhere in the northern. The blue army appears anywhere in the southern. So this is just a simple fight. But instead of one king of the hill, we got 2 hills that our boys want to be the kings of. This is how Neil presents it, with the British coming from the north and the French from the south. I'm going to go ahead and, for the sake of filming, turn it 90 degrees, and then make a few changes to the terrain. Still going to have hills on this side, still going to have forest on this side. Maybe pull this forest down a little bit more this way. But I like having paths through there for, remember that our cavalry struggle to move through there. This is still not enough terrain for 1-hour skirmish war games, so I'm going to add some trees. Now, I only have, in addition to the 6 trees that will turn these templates into forests, I only have about 15 other trees. So what I like to do to keep it kind of random is just take some chips and just flip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and whoops, that was exciting, 15. Now that blocks that off, so I'm actually going to drop this over here. And now we've got a much better, here, let's do some little, we'll do some alakablam. And now we have it's semi-random. We've still got a good scattering of trees. It's a lightly wooded area with a couple of heavy copses, a couple of trees. They're going to be blocking line of sight. I think we're in much better shape now to run a 1-to-1 skirmish game. Let's take a look at the armies. On the hilly side of the table, we've got our French forces. Now, this is essentially a light infantry. What I've done to balance the forces, again, I've got cavalry on one side and the French start the game within 6 inches of the hilly edge of the table, and I have a lot more British troops than I have French. So in order to balance the points, what I've done is I've given these guys dead shot. You got 9 riflemen for 18 points. Call them a light infantry company. They are marksmen with rifles. They are led by a leader with a leadership of 2. And then they have a cannon this time around. So this time, this is going to be new for me. I haven't done a cannon yet. I know cannons basically have 2 hit points, so I've got 2 soldiers manning that cannon. And we'll see how that works. Altogether, this is a 26-point force. It becomes 28 when you realize that or 29 rather, both teams have a motivation of 3, meaning that they're not going to fail any morale checks until unless they flip over at least, well, they're going to add, they're going to subtract 3 from the number of casualties they have. So they got to take at least 3 casualties before they have to take any morale tests, but guys are going to be dying like flies, a lot more than in my previous games because I have a much better idea how melee works. Looking now at the Redcoats. On the British side, we are looking at 8 riflemen, a leader 1, so he pulls an extra card for morale checks at the end of every turn, And then we've got 6 cavalry. So we got 1 cannon versus 6 cavalry. The cavalry are worth a whopping 16 points. It's going to be leadership of 1 for him, and then each of these figures is worth 3 points to 1 point for each of these guys. That's why I gave marksmanship to the light infantry over on the French side. That doubles their points and gives me a balanced point cost. We have a balanced table set, and remember that there are basically 2 ways to win. You can either drive your opponent from the field by forcing them to fail a morale check, or you can be in sole possession of both fords in the stream. Per Neil Thomas, nobody starts on the table. That means we are going to be bringing guys on. I'll cut the deck as usual. Nice random cut. Demonstrate my honest intentions here, and we'll flip for initiative. 6 means that the French go first. Before we get rolling too far, one thing I want to point out is that given that this is a skirmish game and this is not horse artillery, I'm going to rule that it only takes 1 action point to move this guy 6 inches. However, it also takes 1 action point to rotate him, and that if he's moving through rough ground, that it can only move 3 inches for each action point. So the first move would be 1. The second move would be, it would cost 3 action points to move him 3 inches, and so on. It being the French turn, we got to figure out how many, and they are motivated to go first, but not very. So we're going to have the leader appear and take stock of the situation, and then the British are going to have 10, 11, 12 action points, which they're going to use to bring on all of their cavalry. 6 points to bring the cavalry on. You can see the leader is actually the guy in the back right-hand section. We're going to protect him and his bonus to morale. Then we brought in 5 of the riflemen with the lieutenant, who is still not in the woods. So they're making good progress. Remember, cavalry can move 9 inches. Able to bring on another 4. I think that means we'll bring the cannon in next. The cannon gets to fire 3 shots at any individual, and we're going to put him right here. He can fire in a 45-degree arc, unlimited range, so something like that. Now, he does have an alley down between these trees, but there are some shadows that guys can hide behind, and that's it for the French. With just 4 points to go there, I think we'll bring up him. That's 1, 2... And infantry can move 6 inches. We're going to try to keep behind the shadow of that and stay out of the line of fire of the cannon. So these trees, if we draw a straight line, are protecting those 3 guys. The woods count as cover. You can't fire across. They're not that thick, I guess, because you can't fire across 2 of the edges. You can fire into the woods if you've got line of sight. Remember, these don't block line of sight. But anybody in the woods that you can see, and we'll put the leader behind those guys so that you got to wipe them out first. Then it becomes time for the French to see what they can do. And another 4. Okay. They'll bring up 4 guys to hide behind the hill for the time being and see if they can get into position. With 5 AP now, and let's go ahead and bring these other 3 guys on the board. So the British are now fully invested. And with 2 more points, I think we can bring... With 3 more points, we can get this private. The stream is uncrossable, by the way. The only way to cross is at. Well, no, wait a minute. We didn't discover that, did we? I don't know if the stream is crossable or not. Let's find out if you can cross, or if you have to stop at the stream, and then or let's say you have to stop in the center, or if you have to take an entire action point to get from one side to the other. On a 1, you just stop at the stream. And then on your next move, you can move a full 6 inches. On a 2 through 5, you have to stop and spend an entire turn getting across it. And on a 6, it's uncrossable. There you go. Uncrossable. Which means our infantry here are going to have to be very careful how they approach that cannon if they want to use cover. So we'll put our first one there, and I think it's pretty clear that the British control this one, and this fort is still contested. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll bring this guy up again. He's kind of taking advantage of the placement of that tree to ensure that the cannon can't get him, and that's it. On to the French turn, and they've got 1 action point. Well, we're going to fire the cannon. The cannon takes 3 action points, and that's what the red chips are for. It takes 3 action points to reload, but we do have a shot at that guy there. Remember, it has unlimited range. And we get to draw 3 cards to see if we hit him. Now, the cannon, the way that John Lambshead does this is normally with a machine gun, you draw to see if you kill this guy. And if his defense card is higher, you draw again. And if you kill him, then your 3rd card you could use to kill this guy. But in the Napoleonic era, he's assuming that these guys are spread out and that we're using solid casing, basically. Otherwise, it's too powerful. So we have an 8, 7, and an ace. And with an 8 of hearts, we have to go to the suit tiebreaker. Spades is higher than hearts. So he is knocked over for our first casualty of the game. And then it's the British turn. With 5 action points, we can bring him up to here. Now, he might be behind cover, but he doesn't have an open shot because this tree blocks line of sight. So that's 1, 2. And now he's in cover, and he's going to shoot at the leader, actually. Let's put him over here so we can show that. So he takes a shot at that leader. And with a jack and a 2, Monsieur Lieutenant goes down. And I think that was, is that their only action? 1, 2, 3. 4 and 5. So they're trickling across, getting a foothold on the south bank of the river, and it is the French turn. Finally get some action here. We're going to start by bringing on the next 5 guys, and they can move 6 inches. The French have opted to bring on the rest of their units. 2, 4, reload that cannon. 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. They'll take another shot at the cavalry for 8. And they get 3 shots. Not great. But a diamond beats a club. So he goes down. The cannon has to reload again. They still have 1 more shot. So we'll use this guy to take a shot over here. Remember that your infantry take 2 actions to reload. And they are marksmen, so they get to draw 2 cards to see if they hit. And the British soldier is behind a tree, so he draws 2 cards. The 7 beats the 3, and he goes down. But it is the British turn. Red Joker turns over. We have to check for casualties. No casualties. No need to draw cards to see if anybody breaks. But we do have 1 down Frenchman over there. On a red card, the leader is gone. So he stands back up. We have a downed British here. The black card, he stands up. And then we have 2 cavalry. So the near guy and the far guy. The near guy is the first actual casualty of the game. He stands back up, and we reshuffle the cards. And we'll do a nice little cut on the cards, as usual. One question we need to answer is, what kind of hills are these? Are these gentle and they only slow down movement? Or can you stand on the ridge and gain an extra card in melee? On a 1, 2, 3, they're gentle hills. Yep, gentle hills. They're not going to help you out in melee at all. The only thing they do is slow down those horses. Cards for initiative. British get the initiative, and they get a lot of initiative. They've got a lot of points. We're going to take full advantage of that by moving our cavalry. We can move all 5 of these. Or at 4 points for 2 moves, we could move 3 of them twice. I think we'll just move them all to one time. 9 inches, we'll take them right up to the ford. And I did place it so that the ford is 2 inches wide. And I think we'll pull some of these guys back just a little bit. We'll put 2 in sight, and this guy, now bear in mind his line of sight is cut off by the hill there. So as long as we stay off to this side, like so, I think our guys are pretty well protected. Yeah, that might be a problem. Before he was shooting this way, he was fine. Now they're up in the shadow. That's only 5 AP. We could move a couple of more, but I think we're better off bringing these guys up. The British are definitely in control of the situation at this point. Let's bring him over. That's going to be 1 move to there. So that's 9 AP. $10 to bring him up so he can fire. 11 to reload him, and then he's going to take a shot at him. With a jack versus a queen, he's okay. And we have 1 more action left to go, so let's take a shot at this guy down. Oh, we can't quite see that, can we? Let's back up a little bit. So there's a redcoat down here, and he's shooting at these 2 guys in the open. He draws an ace, they draw a 9, and they are unimpressed with his marksmanship. 12 action points for the Frenchman. We are not too far away from this guy. Let's spend 3 points. And then we'll spend 4 to fire the cannon at this guy. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is pull him back, because I think that's going to be important later. We're going to protect him. He's going to fire at this guy. No. Yeah, he's got a line of sight. That's the best he can do. He's in cover. So our attack is going to be Jack, King, 9 versus a queen and an ace. So he gets blasted and he goes down. That is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of our 12. We've still got 7 action points left to go. We will, with 7 action points, I'm going to the French are going to bring him over to the edge of the hill. Well, he's unloaded. We're going to start with a little hand-to-hand. That is, let's see, This is why solo wargaming is a mistake, and it's always nice to game with a friend. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's just a straight hand-to-hand combat, which did not go well for the French. All right, good to know. Good to know. They're marksmen. So we'll go 7. We'll take advantage of that marksmanship. We'll go 7, 8 with a shot at him. We get a 5 and a 6, and for defense we get a 5 and an 8, so he's okay. And then we'll bring him up into cover. Take a shot. 1, 2 cards versus 2 cards. 10 and a 5 versus a 4 and a 3. So he goes to the ground. We'll find out if he's dead later. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We still have 2 more. We'll go ahead and fire with him at... Let's check line of sight here. Yeah, he's got line of sight. Now remember, those guys do have rifles. They only have a range of 12 inches, but something to keep in mind for later. We're taking a shot there. It's going to be 2 versus 1 this time, and a 6 versus an ace doesn't do it. That's the end of the French turn. And now we'll go with 5 action points for the British, who are still interested in putting... You know what? We're going to ride for Wrath, now for Ruin, and we're going to bring them right up on the hill. The back guy can move to just right here. We'll bring the leader up to there. He comes up, and then they will... 5 points. We're gonna set up a little perimeter right there. Why would you expose yourself to fire? You're safe for the time being. Make them come to you. That's the end of the British turn. The British now control both fords. They're in great shape. We've got 7 AP. We're going to take 3 AP to fire with this guy at him. 2 cards. A 4 and a 2 versus a 4 and an 8. That's 2. And then we'll do 4 cards to fire here. Or 4, that's our 4th action point. A 10 and a 4 versus a 6 and a 2 knocks him down. And 1, 2, 3, 4. How many action points do we have here? 7. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's the British turn. With 10 action points, we're going to put a lot. We're just, we only need to wait through 5 turns. So we just need to keep a perimeter active over here. Let's flood the zone, all right? He's going to come up to here for 1. And then we can get 2 moves out of this. Let's bring him up as well for 10. 5, 6, 7, and then 3 action points to move to there. And it's the French turn. And they get 1 shot. All right, well, somebody got a little sloppy and should have stayed back a little bit. Cannon is going to take a shot at him. With an ace 4 and a 5. Oh, they got lucky this time. He drops to the ground. And I think if he survives, we know what his first action is going to be. The British now get 9 points. And for 4 of those, I don't want to bring the leader up just yet. We can move 6. We can bring a second guy up. For 4 more, we can bring him up. And then we can take a shot with him over to here. Now that's only going to be 1 card versus 2. But we like smoking out the cards. Total miss. French turn. 3 action points. They're simply going to reload. The British now have 9 action points, and we can go 1, 2... Oh, this reload is under him. 1, 2... And then 3, he's going to shoot at this guy, who gets 2 cards for defense and survives. Number 4... We had 9. So we did 4. Oh, and that's it. Did I get that right? We had 1 shot, 2 shots. What did I have? I had 10 AP, right? And I used 4, 8, reload, and shoot, and we're done. I might have got my AP off. Need to figure out a better system for keeping track of that. 8 action points. We will... Priorities. He can take a shot at this guy, right? Well, they're blocked by this tree, so we're going to shoot at this guy instead. And with 1, 2, 3... Oh! And there's his defense. The turn ends immediately. Okay, so we got to check for casualties. The French have two somehow. I might have forgot to bring one of these guys on. They have a leader one, so they get to draw two cards, and look, they beat it. Then the British only have one casualty, and with a queen, that totally beats. Let me put these over here. I am looking at them there just off screen over there. See, one casualty for the British, two casualties for the French somehow. And it's time to find out who is dead. The French don't have anybody laying on the ground, but the British do. So we'll check this guy first. He stands up. Then we'll check this guy. He stands up. Then we'll check, there's one more infantryman, and he was unloaded, so he comes out. And then we've got the cavalryman that took a cannonball, and he is dead. Big surprise there. We are on turn number 3, and the French are in a little bit of trouble. They have struggled to get their act together and get moving the way they really probably should have. The British are in control of both fords and have not taken a whole lot of casualties yet. So the impetus is going to be on the French to drive the British from the field. As always, your thoughts on scenario design are appreciated. I wonder if tilting this actually gave an advantage to the guys with a lot more cavalry. The extra trees absolutely gave advantage to the British because they've got a lot more hidey places. But if you're just not ready to act, French get initiative. Not going to make a whole lot of difference, is it? This is exactly what I'm talking about. I thought the cannon fired. I think it did. If it didn't, then they're having supply issues. They only get 2 action points. All right, we're going to fire with this guy. He's going to take a shot at any one of these guys. Let's just call it that guy right there. And it's going to be 2 cards versus 2 cards. An ace and a 4 versus a 9 and a 5. And he's okay. The British get to go, and they've got 9 action points. We'll take a shot over here. An 8 versus a queen and a 9 is a miss. We'll take a second shot with a 6. And a queen and a king is a miss, and we'll take a third shot. So we are down to 6 AP left. That shot is a 7 versus a jack, so that's 3 misses. With 7 AP, we're going to reload and fire, which will bring us down to 5 AP. And a 4 versus a joker. That's the end of the turn. That's the end of turn number 3. I'm not even going to bother with morale right now. The score is 2 French casualties to 3 British. They both have a motivation of 3. It's impossible to fail. So we just moved right on to the shuffling, and we will check initiative. This might be part of a wider battle to secure a stream crossing. It occurs to me that what we've done is we've moved everybody together, and we've kind of bogged down into just a static firefight, which was, from my understanding, pretty typical of the day. The French get the initiative, and let's see what they can do with it. 11 AP is going to come in very handy. 4 of those AP are going to be spent taking a shot at this guy here with 1, 2, 3 cards, some big ones in there, and that puts him down. 8 AP left. We'll take a shot with him, take us down to 6. That marksmanship does not do you a whole lot of good when you're shooting at guys behind a tree. Shot here is going to take us down to 4 AP, and there's the joker, and that's the end of turn 4. Once again, I'm not, well, we have to do, because we have 1 casualty now, I guess we have to check our, and then what do you call it? Morale. Just to smoke out the cards, we do have a bonus. He's got a leadership of 2, so we draw 3 cards, and he's got a leadership of 1. We got a couple of guys with 1. You use your highest. So we burn off those cards, and then we need to check to see what happens to Corporal there. And with a black card, he simply stands up. So turn 4 did not see a lot of change. And we have to reshuffle once again, with the onus on the French to get it in gear and get stuff done. Initiative goes to the British with a whopping 10 chances to do some good. We're going to reload and fire with each of these guys in turn. So that's going to be a shot here for Joker, end of turn 4. And that is exactly what the British were hoping for. Or is that the end of turn 5? You know, the one time that I didn't have a die ready, ain't that always the way? Let's go ahead and play one more. You know, we've been at this a little while, but we got no time constraints. Let's go ahead and play one more turn and see if that makes any kind of a difference. Give the French one last opportunity. What could be more fitting than to give Napoleon's forces just one last roll of the dice, huh? And we get, look at that, tie for initiative. The French do get the initiative, and with their 10 points, we're going to start by bringing him up and taking a shot right there. This might have been the thing they should have done a long time ago. That puts him down. 2, 4 actions to take another shot at the next cavalryman. And look at that. A second man goes down. 4. And that's going to be a 10 versus a 2 and an ace. So he survives. And then we'll bring him up to take one last shot. And that's going to be an ace versus an ace. But wait, there's a third man down. So these guys are all unloaded now. And we have 2 actions left over. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. With 2 actions left over, all we can do is reload one guy. Let's go ahead and reload him, our point man right here. For their part, the British get 1 action point. All right, we'll take advantage of that by moving up here into hand-to-hand combat. He is a cavalryman with a sword, so he gets 2 cards to the British guy's 1. And that's enough to remove him as a casualty. But that's it for the British. 6 action points for these guys. 2, 3. Oh, you know, I think I've been underreporting that. We're gonna take 2 action points to reload, and then we're gonna open fire on that cavalry guy for 3 of our 6. And to no effect. The second guy is likewise going to do the same. And that's it for the French turn. And with a King of Hearts, reverse alphabetical order, hearts, then diamonds, he falls down as well. So the wait-and-see attitude on that side is not paying off. However, their problem now is if a Joker comes up, the British were the last to control it. I think the British still control it, and it's the British turn. With 7 action points, we're going to use 2, 4, and now we got a line of sight at those guys. So the first one will be a shot at the guy on top of the hill, and that ends the turn. And now I think we can see for sure that the British have finally won. The late push is not going to do it for the forces of the French. They needed to use, oh, you know what they should have done? If they, instead of taking a shot with this guy, oh, they had to because he was up there. If he had moved down here, did the British control it? That's kind of weak. I think we're going to call this maybe not a total victory for the British, but I think we have to call it a British victory because they're locked down pretty solid right here. And that's pretty much the end of the game. An interesting scenario. We might have gone 5. We might have gone an extra turn. I'm not sure. Maybe we should have gone 7 turns altogether. Because but it all depends on the Jokers, right? They went deep sometimes. They come out shallow sometimes. In the end, it all evens out. If you have any thoughts on the balance of this scenario, any particular rules that I might have missed, or if you think it's bogus to only let the cannon move 3 inches, if you think it's bogus to not let these guys charge up a hill at full power, or to let them charge up a hill at full power. Maybe on the turn they charge up, they should only draw 1 card. Maybe that's the penalty for charging uphill. Maybe horses are better at running up hills than we think. I don't know. I'm still kind of a neophyte at this Napoleonics. Although I'm thinking I'm much less Thanks to you guys of being a neophyte at 1 Hour Skirmish Wargames. I had a great time today. Hope you did too. Tune in next time. I will show you how to play the games. You'll show me how to play the games. And in that way, we'll make each other better wargamers. And hey, isn't that what this hobby is all about? Remember, guys, I'm praying for you.